Hello friends, welcome to SahuStudies. In this video, I am going to discuss about cross-filter function in Power BI. So what is cross-filter function? Why do we use cross-filter function? So cross-filter function specifies cross-filtering direction to be used for the duration of DAX expression. So let's understand this statement. So suppose we have a data model and there are two tables which has one to many relationship between them. The relationship is flowing from one side to many side, but there is a requirement to calculate certain kind of a calculation where we want the direction of relationship flow from many to one side, and that would be only limited to a DAX expression. So with the help of a cross filter function, we can move the relationship direction from many to one side. The relationship is defined by the naming of two columns that serve as an endpoint. So I have discussed that whatever the relationship we are going to have, the relationship would be between the two columns of two based on the two columns which are present in two different table. So that two column will serve as a endpoint for the cross filtering, that is from many to one side. So this is the syntax of cross filter function. So this is a left column name, this is the right column name, and this is the cross filter type. So let's understand the parameter one by one. So the two columns we want to use, left column is typically many side and the right column is typically one side. So whenever we are doing the cross filtering function, so whatever the value we are going to provide in left column name side, this column name must be many side of one to many relationship and the right column name comes from one side of one to many relationship. For example, this is the AP sales by store and AP customer lookup table. So the relationship flows from customer lookup to AP sales by store lookup. So there is a one to many relationship. And if you want to just flow the direction of the relationship from many to one side, so what we going to do, we can use cross filter, and this left column name must come from the many side of one to many relationship. So in this example, so this is the column which comes from the many side of one to many relationship, because the relationship is one to many from customer lookup to AP sales by store lookup, and this right column name will come from one side of one to many relationship. So this AP customer ID must be come from here in this case, and this specifies the direction of the cross filter, like one way, both, and none. We can specify the direction would be one way, direction would be both way, or no direction. Instead of bidirectional relationship, use cross filter to enable two-way filtering only in a specific use case. So let's understand this statement. So this bidirectional relationship, it is not going to happen at each and every time during a creation of a report. Very specific use case, it will require to enable both way bidirectional relationship, and it would be only specific for a calculation of certain things, and it would be available only till the DAX expression evaluates something. So it is better to use cross filter function which enables to filter function instead of creating a bidirectional relationship during the creation of data model. So it is always advisable that use cross filter function whenever we are going to enable two-way filtering. In this exercise, I am going to use this data model. If you want to understand the data model, then please watch video number 12 in this playlist. So what I am just doing here, I am creating a measure, and here I am creating the count of rows from AP retail employee lookup table. Here I am creating a matrix. This is the transaction date which is coming from calendar table. This is the customer sales which is a measure, and this is the measure which is counting the total number of employees which are associated of total sales in that particular date. But there is no direct relationship between these two tables. So here we can see there is a repeating value for the AP retail number of employee for each date, because there is no direct relationship between calendar lookup table and the employee lookup table. So we can see if we have created this measure, and if we include this measure in the table, we can see the values are repeating, because there is no direct relationship between the calendar table and the employee lookup table. This value is coming from the calendar table and this value is coming from the employee lookup table. There is no direct relationship. That's why the filter context is not moving. The filter context is not applying between these two tables. That's why the repeating value is coming for each and every row for this particular measure. So let's do this exercise in Power BI. Let me go to the report view. Let me come to the measure table. This is the dedicated, where is the dedicated measure table? AP retail measure table. Let me create a new measure. The name of the measure is AP retail number of employee. So let me name the measure AP retail number of employee. How we are creating it? We are just doing the count row from which table? AP retail customer lookup, or not customer lookup, we are talking about the employee. Okay, so AP retail employee lookup, run it. So this measure has been created successfully. We can go in the data model. We can see there is no before going to the data model. Okay. Before going to the data model, let me create a visualization first. This is the matrix. In the matrix, first we need to transaction date. Transaction date must be come from calendar table. Second column value is AP retail customer sales. Let me make it little bit bigger. This is the AP retail customer sales. and third is the measure which we have created now, number of employee. Let me make it bigger. We can see here for each and every date the number of employee is same. It is repeating one because there is a no direct relationship between AP retail transaction date which comes from AP retail calendar table, and this is coming from AP retail employee table. So there is a no relationship between calendar table and employee lookup table. We can validate from model view as well. So we can see here this is the calendar table and this is employee table. So there is a no direct relationship is available. Direct the relationship available, how the relationship available indirect relationship is available from AP retail sales by store table. So we are going to use the cross function so that we can leverage the relationship of this AP retail by sales, right? This table has the relationship between these two tables. When we are going to use the cross filter, then the relationship would also flow from AP calendar table to AP employee table. So come to this report view. Let's go to the PPT. Now let's create a different measure. So this is the measure which I am just creating. I am creating with the help of a calculate. What the calculate will do, calculate will going to transfer the row context into the filter context, and here we are counting the row. Which row? We are counting the row from which table? We are counting the row from AP retail employee lookup table, and this is the cross filter. The cross filter will going to be from, this is the many side of the relationship AP sales by store table. That's why this one AP retail staff ID is the column which comes from the many side, and the relationship is AP retail employee lookup. We have a relationship between AP employee lookup table to AP retail sales by store, one to many relationship. So first argument or first column name comes from the many side of the relationship, and the second column name comes from one side of one to many relationship, and the direction is both. We want a bidirectional relationship. Now here, with the help of a cross filter function, now a relationship has been created from AP employee lookup table to AP calendar lookup table, because AP calendar lookup table has a relationship with this table as well. And when we are going to create the report, so this is the transaction date which is coming from AP calendar table. This is the customer sales. This is the AP retail number of employee. This is the measure which we have created to count the number of employee without cross filter, where each and every row having the same value. Now these measures which we have created with the help of a cross filter function, and here the right number of employee is populating. This is the number of employee which is participated in this customer sales of this amount in this date. Now let's create this exercise in Power BI. Let me create a measure. This is the measure table. Let me create a new measure. Let me rename this measure as AP retail number of employee, number of employee cross filter. How the data will going to how what is the logic in this measure? We are using calculate, and in this calculate we are using this count rows. Count rows from which table? Count row is from AP retail employee lookup table, and then we are using we are using this cross filter. In the cross filter, what we are what the parameter we need to give, the first parameter is the column name, which must come from the many side. So the many side is AP retail sales by store, and column name is staff ID. Column name is staff ID, and name of the second column would come from one side of one to many relationship. So it would come from AP retail employee lookup, AP retail staff ID, and the direction is both. Here we have to give the comma, and here the direction is both. Let me run it. So let's discuss one more time what we are doing in this measure. We are using calculate, and we are doing a count rows. Count rows for which table? Count row of this AP retail employee lookup table. We are using the cross filter function, and the cross filter function will going to take the first parameter, the column name, which is coming from many side of one to many relationship. So this AP retail sales by a store has a one to many relationship, and this table fall in many side of the relationship, and this column is also falls from many side of the one to many relationship. This employee lookup table has a relationship with AP sales by store table, and the relationship one to many side. This employee lookup table falls in one side of one to many relationship. This column is also falls in one side of one to many relationship. And this cross filtering, what we are saying that both we we need the bidirectional relationship between these two tables. Now let me just include this measure in this table, in this visualization which we have created earlier. Let me search this measure. Now let's see here. Now this is populating the right value, because now a relationship has been created between AP employee lookup table and AP calendar table with the help of a AP sales by store table. Now this is the number of employee which has participated in this amount of customer sales in this particular date. So in this video we have seen how we can use cross filter function in Power BI. Let's go to the PPT. Thank you. If you like content of my video, then please subscribe my channel, like it, comment on it, and press the bell icon to get notification whenever I add videos.